September 28, 2025, Daily Bread. Passage 2 Chronicles, chapter 4, verse 1 to chapter 5, verse 1. Key verse, chapter 5, verse 1. Title: Solomon furnished the temple. He made a bronze altar, 20 cubits long, 20 cubits wide, and 10 cubits high. He made the sea of cast metal, circular in shape, measuring 10 cubits from rim to rim, and 5 cubits high. It took a line of 30 cubits to measure around it. Below the rim, figures of bulls encircled it, 10 to a cubit. The bulls were cast in 2 rows in one piece with the sea. The sea stood on 12 bulls, 3 facing north, 3 facing west, 3 facing south, and 3 facing east. The sea rested on top of them, and their hindquarters were toward the center. It was a handbreadth in thickness, and its rim was like the rim of a cup, like a lily blossom. It held 3,000 baths. He then made 10 basins for washing, and placed 5 on the south side, and 5 on the north. In them the things to be used for the burnt offerings were rinsed, but the sea was to be used by the priests for washing. He made 10 gold lampstands according to the specifications for them, and placed them in the temple, 5 on the south side, and 5 on the north. He made 10 tables, and placed them in the temple, 5 on the south side, and 5 on the north. He also made 100 gold sprinkling bowls. He made the courtyard of the priests, and the large court and the doors for the court, and overlaid the doors with bronze. He placed the sea on the south side, at the southeast corner. And Hiram also made the pots and shovels and sprinkling bowls. So Hiram finished the work he had undertaken for King Solomon in the temple of God. The 2 pillars, the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars, the 2 sets of network decorating the 2 bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars. The 400 pomegranates for the 2 sets of network, 2 rows of pomegranates for each network, decorating the bowl-shaped capitals on top of the pillars. The stands with their basins, the sea and the 12 bulls under it, the pots, shovels, meat forks, and all related articles. All the objects that Hiram-Abi made for King Solomon for the temple of the Lord were of polished bronze. The king had them cast in clay molds in the plain of the Jordan, between Succoth and Zarethan. All these things that Solomon made amounted to so much that the weight of the bronze could not be calculated. Solomon also made all the furnishings that were in God's temple, the golden altar, the tables on which was the bread of the presence, the lampstands of pure gold with their lamps, to burn in front of the inner sanctuary, as prescribed, the gold floral work and lamps and tongs, they were solid gold, the pure gold wick trimmers, sprinkling bowls, dishes, and censers, and the gold doors of the temple, the inner doors to the most holy place, and the doors of the main hall. When all the work Solomon had done for the temple of the Lord was finished, he brought in the things his father David had dedicated, the silver and gold, and all the furnishings, and he placed them in the treasuries of God's temple. Daily Bread Message. The detailed description of the temple furnishings in chapter 4 follows the instructions God gave to David, who handed them over to Solomon toward the end of his reign. David was not allowed to build the temple himself, but Solomon was to carry out the mission. Solomon understood the privilege of executing the plan. He carefully followed the instructions, instead of applying his human wisdom. He honored God's instructions and obeyed concerning the floor plans and furnishing. The temple had essential features that signified it as God's dwelling place. There was an altar where his people could come to him for an atonement of their sins. The metal sea and wash basins signified the need for cleansing before God. The courtyard was reserved for the priests, who served as mediators, praying and offering sacrifices to God on behalf of his people. The magnificence of the building and furnishings signified the holiness of God. While no amount of gold or precious stone can replicate heaven, Solomon tried all he could to represent the greatness of God. Prayer. Father, thank you for dwelling among us through Jesus. Please help me honor you by bringing what is most precious to me, one word. Bring honor and glory to God.